You're listening to Alcoholics Alive, where recovered members of Alcoholics Anonymous share their experience on how they live AA as a way of life. None of our participants get paid or speak for AA. Here are your hosts, Shank and Wayne. Shank, I was at a meeting last week, and someone made the comment, it was at the end of their share, that some people come to AA and get sober and stay sober, and many people come and don't stay sober, or they'll relapse and eventually get sober. And they made the comment that, no one here knows why that happens, or the AA's never figured that out. And I'm thinking, like, well, the book tells us that those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program.
Yes!
So I think the book's pretty clear on why someone would not get sober coming to Alcoholics Anonymous, is because they didn't give themselves completely to the program.
They may still have a reservation, if you will.
Probably have a reservation. It also says that those folks can't be honest with themselves, and that people that actually relapse are those that don't enlarge their spiritual life. It says that in the book several spots. So I think we actually do know why people come to AA and don't initially get sober. They haven't given themselves to the simple program, and they haven't enlarged their spiritual life. Probably have a reservation, and they're not honest. Maybe they just don't want to quit drinking.
Maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're out there, we've recovered from alcoholism, or from the hopeless condition of mind and body, and we don't think we're treading on thin ice, or that our disease is out in the parking lot doing push-ups, waiting to get us. All these things that you hear, we stay sober on faith and helping other people, and we're not operating out of fear. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that in before we got into our topic. But before that, what is our Upon Awakening reading?
Upon Awakening, this comes from the book Alcoholics Anonymous. This is from the foreword to the second edition and the fourth edition, 2001. And it says, "Yet it is our great hope that all those who have as yet found no answer may begin to find one in the pages of this book, and will presently join us on the high road to a new freedom."
You know, AA works really well for people that tried other stuff and it didn't work, or folks that get here, maybe they didn't try other stuff, but they got here and they knew they were hopeless. So this is telling us that the answer is in the book, Alcoholics Anonymous. And
Come to the high road to a new freedom.
Come on to the high road. Join us on the high road to a new freedom. There's hope in that. Certainly been my experience. Is that once I started trying Alcoholics Anonymous the best that I could, I did have a spiritual awakening, and I am on a high road to a new freedom. Definitely better than where I came from.
Amen.
So, praise be.
That's right. That is right.
So, good to know that the answer is in the book, and that all we got to do is follow that. And we certainly have found freedom. What's our topic today? Or what concept are we on?
All right. Today we are on concept V, which is 5. Concept 5. And this is what concept 5 says. Throughout our world service structure, a traditional right of appeal ought to prevail so that minority opinion will be heard and personal grievances carefully considered.
Okay.
So concept 5 is let the minority speak.
Right. keep in mind, if you're not familiar with AA jargon or concepts, minority in this case is not like a class of people or a race or a religion. It is talking about a group of people that were voting on something, and they were in what they call the minority, meaning that what they voted for didn't get approved.
So
That's what it's talking about.
Get us up to speed. Where are we?
Yep. All right.
Get a recap.
Quick recap. Concept 1, we talked about the fellowship holds the ultimate authority in AA.
Yep.
Right. So that's where they talk about the upside down triangle. Concept 2, we talked about the authority is delegated to the conference. So groups and members are in charge, but it's delegated to an annual conference that we send a delegate to. And then we found out in 3 that our trusted servants have the right to make decisions. So we delegate stuff to people, and we actually give them the flexibility, the autonomy to make decisions, although in most cases, they should carry out the conscience of the group that they represent. And in 4, we've learned that everyone has a voice, so that everyone in Alcoholics Anonymous has a voice. No one person has any more authority than the other, and that everybody should have the right to participate, whether that's at the group level, the district level, area, or conference. So everybody can participate in Alcoholics Anonymous. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about all voices matter, so that everyone has a voice even after a vote. So if you're in the minority, you still have the right to speak up, and you still have the right to be heard. So, I mean, I guess in the very simple form, the way that works is that if you've been involved in a group or a district or an area, or even at the conference level, that once a group decision is made and it's voted on, after that vote's taken, whoever's like chairing that meeting, they will ask, does the minority wish to speak? And so after the vote's taken and it's passed, someone that voted in the minority has a second chance to get up and talk at the microphone. So an example is if they were going to spend $10,000 on Grapevine subscriptions to send to senior living facilities, and you didn't agree with that and you voted against it, but it got approved anyway. After it got approved, then the chair would say, does the minority wish to speak? And someone that was in the minority can get up and speak again on why they think that was not the right decision.
So you can only do that if you voted in the minority.
That's correct.
What about if you abstained from voting?
You can't speak.
Okay.
Yeah. Spiritually, you shouldn't get up and talk. If you abstain from the vote, then from my perspective, you've basically given up your voice. So you should not go up and talk. And so in that case, if enough people got up from the minority and reiterated why they thought that vote was a bad decision or why they shouldn't do that, after that's done, somebody that voted in the majority could get up and ask for a motion to reconsider. Meaning what would have happened then is that the minority speaking was compelling enough for them to change their vote. So they would get up and basically say, hey, I want to change my vote, and then a motion to reconsider would happen. And then that would get voted on. The motion to reconsider it. And if a motion to reconsider gets just a simple majority, then it's opened back up for debate and another vote.
Okay.
Yeah, discussion and another vote. Yeah.
So technically speaking, how many people in the minority can get up to speak when they ask, would the minority wish to speak?
It's a good question. So there's no number on it. It's typically up to the chairperson of, wherever you're at. So if you're at an area level, it would be the area chair would kind of would be in charge of that. So I suspect that they would let as many people get up as they wanted to. I mean, if it drug on, probably somebody in the majority would just get aggravated and go ahead and just reconsider just to shut it down.
Yeah, probably.
I'm being a little sarcastic there, but and you've seen this happen before at an area probably, maybe even in your own home group, where a vote gets taken and then somebody in the minority speaks up and it'll get reconsidered and voted on again. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And you can go through the notes from the General Service Conference and see that in the last several years, it's happened quite a few times that something will get voted on and the minority will speak up and it'll get reconsidered. I mean, it's an important spiritual concept because it does make sure that it does ensure that the majority and these powerful voices aren't always in charge, right? They don't always get their way. It can stop sometimes a hasty decision from being made. Although, with that being said, I know at the conference level, I've talked to a few people about just some of the decisions that have been made in the last several years. I mean, there's different opinions on this, but like with the preamble change and even with the PLBB, I think some people maybe feel like that there may have been some hasty or undue pressure made on those, but that's neither here nor there at this point. But
So I have a question.
yes,
I have the concepts checklist pulled up here, which is service material from the General Service Office. And for concept V, concept 5, one of the questions says, has our group experienced the tyranny of the majority or the tyranny of the minority?
well, I think I've been in groups that have experienced both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that it said also included the tyranny of the minority in that question.
It does, yep.
So the tyranny of the majority, at the group level, I have been in two groups that had like a dominant person, either that had too much influence or that actually was a chair that spent the entire time trying to push through what they thought was like most important. So yeah, I've experienced that. And then I have also experienced the tyranny of the minority, where they continue to bring up issues that initially got shot down. And at least in the last 6 years, you'll see stuff get approved because folks are afraid to speak up, or the minority brings up such like sensitive, like
Froth.
yeah, it's that that people are afraid to speak up. So it does happen in a group. I think that in most cases it gets self-corrected. And I mean, I did see recently where a dominant chair, I mean, the group eventually shut them down.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the whole idea behind traditions and concepts is that, and even this one, it prevents from, one person from controlling everything. You'd like to think that everybody could just practice the traditions and concepts in their own demonstration, then you wouldn't have to deal with that. But what's another question you got?
What does our group accept as substantial unanimity?
It's typically 2/3 of a vote.
Okay.
Yeah, so a simple majority would be, over 50%, but substantial unanimity, I hate that term. It's hard to say, kind of like anonymity. It's 2/3 of the voting members. That's the same way at the area and the conference as well.
Do we encourage the minority opinion, the right of appeal, to be heard at our home group, district committee meetings, area assemblies, and the conference?
Well, if you don't, you should. So every group that I've been involved in, we do encourage it. And I can speak for I'm currently on the area committee at Area 51, so we always encourage the minority to speak up. Pretty sure we do at the district as well. That's the essence of this concept, is that, we do want everyone to feel like that they have a voice. And sometimes there is wisdom in the minority. So we should keep an open mind and listen for that. So I think we probably do.
So I have a question. All right, so I have seen it before where the minority gets up, the minority opinion, and they say something, and then maybe someone else, or it's the chair or the delegate or whomever says, well, does anyone want to change their vote? Or is anyone reconsidering? And is that like proper form?
It's out of line. If you follow Robert's Rules of Order, or even just general meeting decorum, that would be out of line. And then we've seen this. So an example would be like at an area level, if a vote happened and then the area chair says, does the minority wish to speak? What's supposed to happen is the minority gets up and they state their side again, and the chair is supposed to remain silent. So when the minority gets up and starts talking at the mic, when they're done, the chair should just pause and wait to see if somebody from the majority is going to get up and make a motion to reconsider. They're not supposed to prompt that.
Got it.
And so we have seen in certain situations where a chair or a delegate or even a group member or a DC, not somebody in the district meeting, would actually, after the minority speaks, would actually say something like, well, if anybody wants to change their vote, now's the time to do it. Or does anybody in the majority want to change it? You're not supposed to prompt that. That's supposed to happen organically.
So interestingly for me, when I was in the minority at a local committee, if you will, a few years ago, and I would speak up as a minority, then someone from the majority would always be like, yeah, but da 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 da. Like I would just speak up and be saying my piece or what have you, and someone from the majority would always like say something
Yep.
after me again.
Yep.
And anyway, I told this guy he could, where he could shove it after the meeting because I just didn't think that was appropriate, and he always did that.
It's wrong. Yep. It's wrong. And we've seen that I've seen that happen more at like the intergroup and district, or even in a home group, where when the minority speaks, the majority is supposed to shut up. And you're supposed to have an open mind, and you're supposed to listen. You don't do a rebuttal on what the minority says. You're supposed to just actually listen and sit in silence. So, how that happened to you, that was completely against the concepts and traditions. Yeah.
I've been
And
thinking a lot about that lately because it was brought up recently by someone. So just reflecting back on that and how much I've learned since then.
yeah,
I knew it wasn't right in the moment. I couldn't have told you it was because of this concept or anything else. I would just knew that that was inappropriate. So,
yeah. And it's interesting because a lot of times we don't really give the concepts or the traditions like a lot of relevance to like everyday life.
hmm
But when you start looking at them and reading them, there's like aspects of them that actually do kind of filter into everything.
yeah, for sure.
And like what happened to you, I mean, it's a complete kind of violation, if you will, of concepts and traditions. Even this concept also talks about how everybody has the right to like submit a personal grievance.
hmm
It's interesting because it's not really a term we use in A. You would think of that more as like something at a work or
Yeah,
business, right?
yeah,
But even like some of the experience with the intergroup, when several of us tried to actually talk about a personal grievance about stuff, it completely just got shot down.
hmm
It never even got like any attention or
hmm
no one, and that's completely like against this concept
yeah,
that everyone should have the right for what they call a right of appeal. So if something's not going right or we see something that's like not in line with spiritual principles or our program, we do have the right and I guess the grace, if you will, to point that out and to submit what they call personal grievance. And when that's done, whoever's receiving that should keep an open mind, and they should listen to it, and they should make sure it gets the proper attention. And this ensures that we don't like get punished, that there's no shame and there's no retaliation. But I'll tell
I was
you,
punished. I was kicked off of the committee.
there was certainly retaliation too. I mean, I got some of those
Yeah,
emails that's like, guys, you guys are reading different books than we're reading.
yeah,
It's like, wow.
but an
So,
experience nonetheless.
yeah. So there's lots of lessons in it for all of us to, if you think about how to practice it in your personal life. I mean, it would be to listen to people,
hmm
right? Keep an open mind. Don't always filter everything through our experience. Try to, listen to what people are saying and be respectful to others. Try to speak clearly to people. And I think to support people and make people feel comfortable to actually speak up and encourage honest. So this is another one. Encourage honest disagreement.
hmm
This is another thing that's like I think has kind of changed a little bit over the last 9 years, if you will. That it's happened in society, but it's filtered into AA to where we can't even have like honest disagreements with people without people like defriending you, or like they can't be in the same group with you anymore,
Yeah.
or they can't associate with you. And just because you disagree on something, it's
hmm
okay. But I mean, it's like this is why there's so many AA groups that have started that don't make it, is because folks start them because of a disagreement with somebody else or a resentment, and then they just run off and start a group instead of just sitting there in that group or with those people trying to come to some agreement. So I don't know. It's interesting,
It is. And I think, it all comes back to like the humility.
right?
And not that I'm going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, I'm the most humble person there's ever been, but the people who have gone before me have taught me that sometimes I just need to sit down and listen,
Yep.
because people who have been in Alcoholics Anonymous a lot longer than me have experienced that can be useful to me. And even like with some
Ex-
stuff, like, okay, I've been wanting to get in touch with corrections professionals, and that's something in our state that kind of fell by the wayside because nothing was happening. And I think you were kind of against that in a way, or not against it, but just like, hey, we've tried all of that. But like, okay, like let's try again. And it may turn out the exact same. Work on it for a few years, either get somewhere, get a little bit of progress, maybe not make any progress, end up right where we were, but you're willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. Other people are willing to chip in and help. Maybe we'll have a new experience, maybe we won't.
Yeah. I opened my mind and decided to do it. I think we're actually having a better experience than we have in the past so far. I mean, it's
So far.
yeah. But that's the essence of the concept and the traditions.
Hmm.
And being right. I like being right. But it's not always the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think keeping an open mind and trying to learn new things is important as well. The other thing to think about, we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, is that it's important in AA to have healthy conversation and discussion and information before any kind of vote is actually taken.
Hmm.
And so you can read the AA group pamphlet and the service manual. It talks about avoiding like knee-jerk motions and knee-jerk voting. And so I say that because if there's adequate discussion and adequate information presented to people, regardless of the topic, a lot of times you can come to a consensus on it without even voting.
Yeah.
Or there's so much conversation and so much agreement on something that the vote is like automatic. Oh yeah, everybody's in agreement. And that's really what you want.
Hmm.
So if stuff is adequately discussed and information is presented, even if a vote is taken, a lot of times there won't be a minority opinion because everybody has kind of gotten on board with it, even if it's not everything that you can completely agree with.
Hmm.
So I think it's important to note that let's have adequate discussion and information before we even vote.
Yeah. That's what I like.
Yeah,
The more information, the better.
yeah. And coming to a consensus to me is way better than the vote.
Hmm.
And a lot of people think a group conscience is a vote. It's not.
Yeah.
It's sometimes reflected in a vote, but if we have enough conversation up front, sometimes you don't even have to vote.
Well, and
This
even
is
when
more
we
at the
had in a previous episode, we had Shelley on, and she had mentioned at a previous home group of hers that they voted and da 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 da, and people were all this conversation about changing something in their group, so they did. And then 6 months goes by, and it's back to doing it the way before. So clearly, the group
yeah,
conscience had really spoken.
right. Yeah,
People maybe
yeah,
felt pressured during the vote or just said, let's quit talking about this. Just do whatever the people want. Who cares? And 6 months later, they're back to where they started.
yep,
So I think that's a good lesson too.
yeah. And this is more at like a group level. I understand that area, and particularly at the conference, that they do vote on everything, and that they probably need to. But a lot of times at the group and even at a district level, stuff can be agreed on without voting.
Does this play into floor actions? Do floor actions play into this or not really? That's different.
Well, they can, and I mean I think that's one of the previous comments I made about the preamble wording getting changed. I mean that's an item that failed in the committee, and somebody brought up a floor action about it at the conference, and that's how it ultimately got approved, was through a floor action. And I mean, I got personal opinions about some of that. I mean, sometimes I think it's just it's an avenue for the minority to try to have a last ditch effort to get something pushed through or approved. You're not going to get a lot of people to agree with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the floor action is used for what we would call somebody in the minority to try to get something approved.
What about
It's part of the process. I mean,
what about someone that votes in the majority knowing that the minority is going to speak so that they can change their vote so it can be reconsidered?
Shank, I've done that. I wasn't going to bring it up. I did it in the old home group one time.
You thought you were going to get through this whole episode
It,
without me saying that.
it worked.
Well,
It actually worked. I won't recommend it. It's probably not real spiritual. Yeah, it's probably not real spiritual. But yeah, people do that. So I mean, somebody that's actually in the minority will vote in the majority, knowing that how the vote's going to go, and then they'll speak up and try to get it changed, like, after the vote. So yeah, that happens.
okay.
It's a tactic.
Just curious.
Yep. Enough said on that. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, concept 5 helps us stay spiritually balanced. It's not just democratic, it's compassionate.
Well, and I think it's the AA group where it all began. I think it's that pamphlet, but it says like a good sign of a healthy home group is dissenting opinions.
Yes.
So when you don't have that group think, that hive mind, when you have a minority opinion, you have a good cross section of your community. So I think it's important to remember that too.
It is. Yep. And if you're in the minority, it's okay. Doesn't mean you got to run or change. I mean,
Oh.
stay and be helpful. Oh, here's a quote from Bill Wilson.
Okay.
The well-heard minority is our chief protection against uninformed, misinformed, hasty, or angry majorities.
I'm putting that on our business meeting agenda.
You should. It's an accurate statement. The interesting thing about it is, I would say that it's changed a little bit in the last several years.
Probably the
that
opposite.
the angry minority is winning
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a shift back, I think, but anyway. And then, what was that comment you made? Oh, might makes right.
Yeah.
So this avoids that. And we all have seen the might makes right, where a person thinks that their ideas and what they want to do is more important than the group, and they try to ram that through.
Mm-hmm.
So let the minority speak and listen to the minority. Let's move on to living sober shrapnel.
All right, we have our Living Sober Shrapnel, which is the segment of lore, myth, and sayings frequently heard from the booklet Living Sober. If you did not know, the booklet Living Sober is practical suggestions heard at meetings. So,
Okay.
we're continuing on through the booklet Living Sober. This is from page 55 of the 55th printing, 2024. And our first Living Sober Shrapnel, this is from, all three of these are from the section called Eliminating Self-Pity.
Oh,
All right.
that's my favorite.
So the first one is, self-pity is an enticing swamp.
It is.
It's pretty good. Here's what this sentence says. Hanging over us long after detoxification is the comfortably familiar feeling of suffering. Self-pity is an enticing swamp. Sinking into it takes so much less effort than hope or faith or just plain moving.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm the self-pity king. Even years sober, I can be very quiet and manipulative with it, right? Trying to get people to feel sorry for me. So,
Yeah.
but drinking and several years in sobriety, I was the self-pity king. I just loved trying to make people feel sorry for me, and I loved my family feeling sorry for me and coming to help me out. So it's an enticing swamp for sure.
Yes.
So this one says, hanging over us long after detoxification is the comforting, familiar feeling of suffering. Self-pity is an enticing swamp.
I kind of like that one.
Yeah. Sinking into it takes so much less effort. So it's saying that self-pity is easier than actually having hope, faith, and just moving on.
That's right.
It's probably true.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, what do you think about this one, Shank? You ever indulge any self-pity?
Oh, yeah, especially while drinking. And in between, let's see, this one and our next Living Sober Shrapnel, the next little paragraph here says, alcoholics are not unique in this. Everyone who can recall a childhood pain or illness can probably remember, too, the relief of crying over how bad we felt and the somewhat perverse satisfaction of rejecting all comforting. And I
Nice.
relate a lot to that. Like, let me tell you how bad and different and terrible it was, it is. No, please don't tell me it's gonna be okay. You don't understand. I don't need a hug. I don't need a flowers the next day.
So you're self-pity princess.
Oh yeah, enticing swamp for sure, for sure.
All right, let's keep it.
All right, we're gonna keep that one.
I think. What do you think?
Yeah, we're keeping that one.
All right.
So it goes on a few paragraphs later. It says here it is. A great ticket to a bar room. Is our next shrapnel. This is also page 55. So it says, one form self-pity takes in some of us when we first get sober is, poor me, why can't I drink like everybody else? Everybody? Why does this have to happen to me? Why do I have to be an alcoholic? Why me? Such thinking is a great ticket to a bar room, but that's about all.
It's a great ticket to a barroom. So basically what Barry's saying is if you have that attitude, you're going to relapse, huh?
Yep, pretty much. It says, crying over that unanswerable question is like weeping because we were born in this era, not another, or on this planet rather than in some other galaxy.
Now, so listen, I know a lot of people, I've helped a lot of people that have felt this way. Mm-hmm. I didn't have this.
Once you got sober, or once you stopped
Yeah.
drinking.
I just don't remember struggling with, like, man, why can't I drink? Or all my friends are going to, still partying. Why can't I? I don't know. I was grateful to be out of that nonsense personally. And I know not everybody has that experience, and that's fine. But I don't remember. I remember having a few maybe thoughts of, damn, I'm just 22 years old. What am I going to do? Stuff like that. But I didn't miss it at all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think my thought was kind of like, my first introduction to AA was in a treatment center, and it was a meeting outside of the treatment center, but it was a bunch of old guys, to my recollection, and I remember just thinking, like, well, all right, I guess this is
it.
going to be like my boring life forever. But they seemed happy, so I was like, okay, well, everything that I did was connected to drinking. Everything I did or did not do.
Yeah.
So I guess I just assumed, well, I'm going to go to prison. That sucks. But then life after that is just going to be boring, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. Why me? I don't. Now I had why me about other stuff. Like I was more self-pity about, why can't I get back with my wife, and why can't I get a job, and why can't this happen and that happen? But I don't remember having that about drinking too much. So
Mine was not about, mine was, you know, not even like going to prison. I wanted, hey, let's hurry up and deal with these consequences. Like, let's do that. But it was more like, why am I still in a maximum security prison? Why me? I'm supposed to be at a medium or minimum. Of course, they chose me, and I'd never been in trouble before, and something horrible happened, you know, or why, oh, I'm going to be a felon for the rest of it. That was a big one. But so many people, you included, were like, give it a rest. Like, no one cares.
Yeah.
So not necessarily about, I don't know, I've never considered it about drinking, I guess, just all the consequences that I've had.
Right. Well, what do you want to do with this one? A great ticket to a bar room.
A great ticket.
Scrap it.
It's out. Our next shrapnel, living sober shrapnel, is a weird flare. So this says, we can also display a weird flare for expanding a minor annoyance into a whole universe of gloom.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. A weird flair for expanding a minor annoyance into a whole universe of gloom. What's that? There's some shrapnel, or there's a saying in AA that we handle the big stuff easy, but the small stuff gets us, or something like that. I don't.
So the sentence before this in Living Sober says, some people show real zeal for pressing salt into their own wounds. A ferocious proficiency at that useless game often survives from our drinking days. That was pretty good too.
Pressing salt in our own wounds. That's true. We can display
kind of, you know, expanding a minor annoyance to a whole universe of gloom.
Yep. Yep. And turn it into something it's not. And
oh, it's like when people are like, well, I can tell when I don't do my prayer in the morning. You know? Start your day over at any time.
Start it over at any time. I got to do step 3 and step 7 every morning. Yeah. I don't know about this one. It's true. I think we do take minor stuff and turn them into big deals when they don't need to be.
Yeah.
Is that a weird flair, though?
I don't know if it is. Let's scrap it. You want to scrap it?
It's out of here.
It's out of here.
God, Living Sober is such a good book.
Yeah.
We've been converted. Actually, we're not. We're joking, but there's some relevance to some of it. There is some good parts in it.
Yep.
All right. Concept V or Concept 5, depending on how you look at that. Remember, let the minority speak. Try to keep an open mind. And what's that term from the big book, from the mouth of babes?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? You didn't know I knew that, the big book, huh?
I didn't.
That's old school AA guys there that say that.
That is real old school.
From the mouth of babes or something like that.
The big book. The big book.
You were reading something before I interrupted you. What was it?
Well, I was going to say, join us on the high road to a new freedom.
That's right. That's a good ending. So if you're out there, join us on the high road to a new freedom.
Freedom.
Thanks for listening. If you have a comment, suggestion, or just need help, you can email Shank and Wayne at freedom@alcoholicsalive.com. Remember, we're recovered members of Alcoholics Anonymous, but we do not speak for Alcoholics Anonymous, nor do we get paid. Join us next week for another great episode.